All right, so today we're going to be talking about what the slope of a line is. So whenever you refer to slope, we're always kind of dealing with something that is going up or down as we go left to right. Like I think of a ski slope, for example, where it has a certain descending action going down. Or I think the slope of a road as it's going up a mountain, right? It might have a certain ascension as you go from one point to another. And so oftentimes we are given a certain graph, and let's say you're in the business world, it might be some form of data. And let's say you're given a line that looks something like this. And you need to figure out what the slope of this line is. In math, we say this. We say the slope is the ratio of rise to run. And what we mean by rise is how far up and down it goes. And by run, we mean how far left to right it goes, right? So if something had a really, really high slope, it would, for example, be like, a really steep ski hill that goes really far down as you go just to the right. If you had something that had a relatively small slope, like maybe a hill outside your house, it increases, but it doesn't increase quite as much over the same distance as, say, this hill might. So what we need to do is we need to figure out how to find the rise and the run. So in blue, I'm going to be dealing with the rise of my slope, and in red, we'll deal with the run of the slope. So rise, we're saying, is up and down. And so what I need to do is I need to find two convenient points to find this ratio. And so I am basically looking for any point on this line that how far up it goes compared to how far over it goes. And so we're going to do this. We're going to pick a couple points that are easy reference points. Like, for example, I know this point right here is an easy reference point. And I also know that maybe this point right here is an easy reference point. And I know that they're an easy reference point just because they line up really conveniently with these grids. For example, right here, I'm not totally sure exactly what numbers are represented on that line at that specific point, but I'm pretty sure here that this is the point 1, 10. And so on. So what I need to do is between these 2 points, how far up does my hill rise compared to how far over it runs? And so I'm going to represent this rise in blue. And so we're going to say that this rises this far. And so we would say that it rises from 10 to, this would be 60. So from 10 to 60, we know that that goes up 50 units of however much we have here. And then as we go from left to right, from this point right here over to this point, it looks like my run is from 1 to 2, which would be exactly 2. And so now we can calculate the slope. The slope of this line is the ratio of the rise to the run. So we write that as rise over run. And so now I'm just going to fill in my information. My rise from my picture I figured out was about 50. And then my run we found was just 2. So now we just have to simplify this fraction down. And so if my slope is rise over run, which is 50 over 2, 50 divided by 2 can be written as just 25 over 1. Or sometimes you can just write it as 25. Either or doesn't really matter. Depends on who's asking the question and what information they want.